Oh, yes. I just got here, and it's 1:36. And I put some videos on YouTube. Then I copied and pasted them into an email. Then I sent that email about 2,500 times today. Now, email is electronic mail. Is a message sent from one computer to another. Yes, over a computer network. Email, the capital E hyphenated MAIL, yes, is also spelled EMAIL. It can be sent and received over private networks, such as one operated within a company. Within a company or over a private network, yeah, such as the internet, message, or so on and so forth. Yeah. To send and receive an email, an individual must have an email address. Oh. And let me see, email boxes. Yes. Mhm. ISPs. Now, I just wanted to mention that I had a little time to myself. Yes. And having been a financial consultant, I was reading an article of something that really did upset me. Yes. It's when to fire your advisor. Yes. Yes, yes. August 2019. Yeah. Now, they give this an example of an advisor, yes, where communication is spotty. Yeah. When you call or send an email, you should expect to hear back within 24 hours. But if days or weeks go by without a word, or you only hear from the advisor when he's trying to sell you something, it's time to move on. Mhm. It could be simply that he's very busy, in which case he doesn't have time for your account. Now, Director of the Alabama Securities Commission, Joseph Borg. And you need someone who's going to pay attention. Yes. Now, considering the number of emails that I've sent to the police department, yes. And I've documented forgery, yes. I've documented the fraud of issuing protection orders. hmm I've documented the evidence that would have exonerated me from any wrongdoing. Yeah. And it seemed that your response to the emails was to ignore me as a citizen of the United States. Yes. Because I never got a response. I never got an officer that said, well, Paul, it's not a crime to use a forgery. The lack of response is now a liability. See, I was a financial consultant, and when clients communicated with me, I had an obligation to communicate with the client, whether that's in phone call or an email. Yes. And I sent you numerous documents today. Yes. One of them was ri.pdf. Oh. Now just think, for 3 years and 10 months, your response to actual evidence of crime was that you would never ever respond to an email. Mm-mm. But that causes me to believe that there are other individuals that you haven't responded to. Am I the only citizen of the United States where the Seattle Police Department decided they wouldn't respond? Yes. Am I the only citizen of the United States where judges, sheriffs, politicians, those in the local police department thought that they had the legal right to not communicate because they have no fiduciary obligation to enforce the laws? Now, let's say, yes, you want me to believe that you can use a forgery to issue a court order. Yes. Because there's been a few times where somebody told me, officer, yes, I should talk to the public defender's office. The problem with that suggestion was the public defender, yes, did not admit the evidence that I was on the bus that morning, and I was in this library that afternoon. Another time, Ron Peregrine, former undersheriff of Clallam County Sheriff's Department, did speak to me at the Safeway, yes, and told me that we wanted to keep it in the county and I should get an attorney, yes. And I said, no, this is an actual crime. Yes, it is. Now, I said no. And you said yes. Now, who has the fiduciary obligation for the enforcement of the laws of the United States? It's kind of like the client communicates with the broker. Yes, the broker is licensed, yes, to buy and sell securities, right, and manage accounts for clients. Yes. Now, when I look at the actual liability right now, I'm going to want to know every email that you didn't answer. Pooh. Could you get me the email accounts of every sheriff in the United States? Yes. Every police officer email account in every police department of the United States. And then every email account of every oath of office, right, candidates and those that were sworn in, as well as the individual officers of each and every precinct. Now, I didn't email the Republican Party today. My thought was the sheriff was going to tell the president right now. Sheriff Bill Benedict was going to tell the president, yes, of the Republican Party in the precinct, don't answer Paul's emails. Now, that's got to be a crime because you have to support the laws of this state and the United States. Yes. You have to support the Constitution of this state and the United States. Yes. And when I document a crime, yes, and you want to misprison the felonies of the county, I feel an obligation to remind you that every time I sent an email for 3 years and 10 months, your refusal to respond to the evidence, yes, is a crime. Now, it could be hundreds of thousands of times that you as a police department decided that you just would not respond to the evidence. What is your excuse for refusing to enforce the laws of the United States? What could cause a police department to refuse to respond to evidence? Now, Seattle Police Department, you're getting sued. Ooch. Now, why don't we go ahead and get the email account of every citizen of this great nation? You know, as stupid as you are as a police department, you thought I was dumb for sending emails. A few different times you asked me to stop sending them. The problem is you never responded from the email address of the police department.